People see us, they don't see the journey, but they see the success. And it's like, oh my gosh, how did you obtain this? They lose sight of us also being human. Nigerian jollof or Ghanaian jollof?
I'm just getting excited talking about it because Nigeria is an experience. Nothing works, but everything moves forward. I came in as an international student to Iowa State University. You can come here and we can talk from now till thy kingdom come. But if you don't have
working.
Think about going to an employer, right? And they're seeing this app on your phone. They're like, oh, tell me about this thing. And you're like, oh, I can do you one better. Open your app and go to the app store and download my app. You've already done half of the work. You're speaking to them in their language.
You are doing things that most people weren't doing.
You had dropped an episode of a podcast with your wife where you're like, one of the things that you're proud about her is that you're like, how did you get in this room? Like rooms that you wouldn't expect her to be. She found her way in there, and it just boils back to.
Where were you at when you got that first offer? Like,
I was sleeping. I just saw congratulations from Microsoft, and I was like, yeah. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulder.
Bro, talk to me that first paycheck, man. Like you see the zeros, bro. Talk to me about that feeling, man.
Paycheck was wild, but what was even wilder was in my mind, it was more money than I knew what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what sort of gluttony is that? Ever since then, it's just been like the rest has been history.
My brother, Uma. What's up, bro?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
I'm tired, but the work must continue.
Okay, we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah, man. How's your Monday?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Mondays are usually filled with a lot of meetings, but you know, she said,
Okay.
Yeah, so far so good.
Hey, I see that you're killing it in the space, bro. You're one of the first people, not one of the first people. I had like a batch of maybe like 20 people that I wanted to invite on the podcast, and you are top 10. You were high on the list, bro. I saw the things you were doing, and I was like, yeah, I gotta have this guy on. And to be honest, I was like, nah, this man don't got no time for me, man. And so when you was like, yeah, bro, like let's do it, I was like, oh, we up, like,
Yeah,
we up, you know. And I just know that your story is gonna motivate people, is gonna inspire people, and that's the goal, bro. Like, people see us, they don't see the journey, but they see the success, and it's like, oh my gosh, how did you obtain this, like, this bag or this goal or this, achievement? And they lose sight of us also being human. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And that we put in work, we bust our butt to get there. So yeah, I just want to have a conversation with you, bro. Just dissect your story, decode your story, yeah, we just go from there, bro.
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it. So usually I have like a quick icebreaker, like a this or that on my episodes, and just random questions, bro. It's not even tech related, or it could be, just to break the ice and just get the ball rolling, bro. So, let's go. So let's pop this off now, bro. You are the third Nigerian I'm having on my podcast, and as you know, I'm Ghanaian. Did you know that? I'm Ghanaian.
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No.
Okay.
I knew you were African, but I didn't know you were Ghanaian.
Oh yeah. We got Ghana boy, Charlie boy. You know what I mean?
Charlie.
And my Ghanaians are like, yo, like, what's up with us, bro? You have all these Nigerians in the podcast. Like, what's good?
Yeah.
And so this is my question, bro: Nigerian jollof or Ghanaian jollof? And I've already asked this question before, but I gotta ask you, bro.
I'm gonna have to go with my Niger people all the way, man.
Bro, why? Why Niger?
One, it's kind of like, it's partly what I'm used to, but I will also say I don't think I've sampled enough Ghanaian jollof to have a strong opinion. But just based on what I know and what I've had, I think even within Nigerian jollof, there are like a bunch of ways different people cook it. But the one to two times I've had Ghanaian jollof, I've been like, yeah, I think I prefer my Nigerian jollof. But I am open to changing my mind, obviously, if I have one that's really, really good. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, next time we meet in person, bro, I'm gonna give you a sample, but it's gonna change your life,
Hey, I'm down, man. I'm down.
Let's do it.
I'm definitely open to it. Yeah.
Let's do it, man. So what is your favorite genre of movie? Do you like movies, if any? Which
I do enjoy movies. I enjoy crime movies, crime/adventure movies. So I enjoy more TV shows. So I really liked Blacklist. There was a point in time when Blacklist was on Netflix. I like that. I would say one of my favorite movies that I can keep watching is Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm really into planes as well. And so them flying and then all that other stuff, like, it was just properly well crafted, a good story. It was now also a sequel to, the original Top Gun. That was really good. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I just enjoy like crime TV shows. I watch a lot of FBI. Will Trent on Hulu. I
Okay.
also do comedy shows as well. So I really like Abbott Elementary.
Yeah,
Just
nice, nice.
simple,
Yeah,
simple
my,
stuff. Yeah.
my wife got me onto Abbott, and I don't know. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
It was all right.
I think I like the characters and I like the
Okay.
humor. Yeah, the
Gotcha.
character and the humor. Like, I never liked what's the name of that show that everyone likes? The one with this guy, The Office. I never got The Office.
Oh, me neither. I've probably
Yeah,
like watched like one episode of The Office. That yeah,
yeah. I
if that.
tried. I just never got it. But on the other hand, I really enjoyed The Big Bang Theory. I'm not sure
Okay.
if you watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's like
Okay.
some of them are like hit or miss, but I just genuinely enjoy just sometimes just disconnecting from the tech and all the stuff that we
Yeah,
do. Just
yeah. No, I love it, bro. I love it. I'm not really a movie person, but I think because my
Mm-hmm.
wife is, so I automatically I guess I am because she's like, "Babe, let's watch a movie together." I'm like, "All right, let's do it."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
half the time on my phone anyway.
yeah.
So it is what it is, man. All
Yeah.
right, so what I know you listen to music. What is your favorite genre besides Afrobeats? Because I know us
Okay,
Africans we say Afrobeats. Besides
okay.
Afrobeats, what is
Um,
your favorite genre?
I like drill, Dave from the UK. I really enjoy his stuff.
Okay, I'm not hip to
Um,
drill.
no, yeah, I like. I'm not drill. I'm a piano.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like when I'm running, when I'm working out, it's like it's just
Yeah,
you're in a different headspace.
yeah, yeah.
There's also like I'm not honestly sure what genre it is, but like there's this artist named Tom Odell. He
Okay.
makes sad music, but it's like sad with like stories of like things happening in like either your happening in your life, in your love life, and stuff like that. And so it's like it's sad, but it's just him telling a story and like expressing himself with like a
Okay.
in a very very unique way. So it's like I like that too. So it's
Yeah.
like it honestly depends on the mood. Like today I may be listening to like Afro beats, as you said. Tomorrow it's like drill.
Yeah.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
just gets tiring listening to the same thing over and over and over again, especially in Afro beats where it's like, all right, I've heard the song 900 times. Like when is
Facts.
the next guy gonna
Facts.
bring out an album and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
So I just like to like mix it up.
Yeah. Did you? I know. David O brought an album out like last week. Have you listened to it?
I listened to only the last song. I haven't
Okay.
listened to the full one, the one with Omale, and everyone is saying
Yeah.
that's a really really good one. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, let me go listen to that one. But I haven't listened to the whole album. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it during the week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't. I'm waiting for that one too. I want to listen to that and Chris Brown. He has one with Chris Brown too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think that they have. I think it's called Blow My Mind.
Yeah.
And I feel
No,
like anytime Chris Brown and David O link up is a mashup.
it's really
So
good.
it's
I don't know what they be fitting Chris Brown in that studio, but he just finds a way to like
bro.
plug into the Afro fusion, like just finds a way to plug into the Afro side of himself, and he just comes out with something that's really always
Facts,
good.
facts, facts. Now he's. I think he's Nigerian now, bro. I think
Yeah,
y'all can claim him, bro. He's
yeah, yeah.
Nigerian now. He's
We're
Nigerian.
gonna blame him, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's dissect your story, bro. Let's get into your story, bro. I got some questions here, but I really never look at the questions, but let's see what happens, man. So you grew up in Nigeria, yeah?
Born and raised, yes.
Born and raised. How's Nigeria, bro?
Nigeria is an experience. It's
Okay.
kind of hard to describe unless you kind of live there. It's kind of like nothing works, but everything moves forward in some sort of way. And it just goes to speak on the nature of the people there, where it's like nothing is meant to be the way it is, but everything just moves forward, right? I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but it's like systems in place aren't working, no jobs, no, like things just aren't meant to be set up for people to be thriving, but yet people don't thrive, but they still get stuff done. And so that was kind of like that's kind of like my experience growing up. So yeah, that's how I like to describe Nigeria. Obviously, since I left in 2014, things are slightly worse. Not slightly, things are a lot worse, but still, things are still happening back home, right? So that's how I like to describe Nigeria to anyone who asks. And as I said, it just speaks to the resiliency of the people who come out of there and the people who are there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, man, because I think when you say that when you put it in those terms, if you don't know any African or anybody who's not American, I guess I would say, anybody from a cultured background. I don't know if I'm using the terms right or not, but let's just say if you don't know any kind of African person, like you'd be like, what are you talking about? Right? You
Yeah.
have to kind of know the culture because
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it in better words than what you said. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there are things that are there to keep you from moving forward, but the mindset of the people is like, yo, we for hustle. Like,
Exactly. Like we just
like,
like
you know what I
at
mean? It's
at
like,
the end of the day, like we just gotta keep moving forward. It's just
gotta keep
gonna
on moving. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. So that's how I would describe the whole country. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that? So you moved here, you said 2014?
Yeah, I moved in 2014.
That's like
Yeah.
what, 11 years ago?
Yes, around we're in 25. Wow, it's been over 10,
Wow.
11
Okay.
years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Why the move to the States?
For school, I came primarily for school. So I
Yeah.
came in as an international student to Iowa State University, started with aerospace engineering actually, and 3 years in, I I was really interested in planes. I still am interested in planes. I find them fascinating. I think the engineering behind systems that can power a plane, right? There's so much going on, and in some ways, like everything, like it almost feels like magic, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
each time you look at it, you can have 1,000 questions on how everything works. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to dissect that. And so I went to school for aerospace engineering, and then 3 years in, there were a few factors. One, I kind of got bored in some way where once you take like a few aerodynamics classes, it's like, okay, you kind of understand how things work, right? The 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 inner workings of the individual components can be learned outside being an aerospace engineer, because the people who work on the hydraulic system, for example, you can probably go do some sort of mechanical engineering that deals with like hydraulics and stuff like that. So I was bored, and then I started looking for a different major, something that wouldn't bore me, something with a lot more job opportunities. That was also a factor as well. And I switched to software, and ever since then, it's just been like the rest has been history, right?
Yeah.
Like I just found something where I could just build. I could follow my curiosity. I could follow that passion on, oh, how does this thing work? Let me go build it, right? Because I had those questions for aerospace, but it was the barrier to go answering some of those questions was like, okay, you could just watch a video about it or read an article, but
Yeah.
the hands-on part on building was a lot harder. But with software, I just kept building.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
any question I had regarding software, I just wrote the code for it or learned how to do it, and that's literally all I've been doing
Yeah.
till this day, actually.
Yeah. No, I love it. So I was doing some research on you, bro, and I realized I saw or read about, I guess, I learned. I learned that so you were doing aerospace space science, and then in the middle of your college or school, you
Yeah.
was like, let me just drop this, and
Yeah.
then you pivoted, right?
Yes.
And I think if correct me if I'm mistaken, it was too late for you to even pick up a class in community science, so you kind of just
Exactly.
dropped off and just self-studied, right?
Yeah. Yes.
How old were you at that time? Because I mean, if your parents are sending you to school and now you're dropping out of college and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm learning by myself,"
Yeah.
how was that experience, bro?
Let me try to figure out how old I was at that time.
Okay.
20 years. So I was around 19 years at the time.
Wow.
And what I did was I switched majors. I didn't drop. Well, what happened was I was too deep into the semester to pick up to pick up software classes. So I just dropped all the aerospace classes I was doing, and I pretty much wasn't taking any class at that time. And so in the summer, I was going to pick up some software classes, but between then it was like March. Like I remember it was it was during spring break actually, and so I just went on LinkedIn.com. Sorry, Linda Learning at the time.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
LinkedIn Learning. At the time, it was lynda.com. And I just, this website that we're doing this podcast on, how does it work? And then you're like, oh, learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you go learn it, and then you create your own portfolio with a simple, background. And then you then make something simple like a web calculator, for example, right? And so
Yeah.
that was how that whole process was. My mom was very, very supportive, as she always is, as long as you kind of like describe it to her, give her your points, and it makes sense. My dad, I didn't tell him because he wanted me to do civil engineering, and I was like, I wasn't doing that before I was going to switch. Then if I tell him I'm going to switch to software, I know it's just gonna open a whole can of worms. So I just, did my own thing and ended up spending a couple of extra years in college because of that, but it was definitely worth it. Yeah.
Wow, that's dope. Can you talk to me about the like the self study aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like you fishing for information from different places, trying to learn something. Was it frustrating? Was there a time you wanted to give up? Because obviously you
Yeah.
just stepped into this career field as you want. You just switched.
Yeah. I
You know what
just
I mean? So
yeah.
how was that?
It was a little bit. It was frustrating because there was a lot, but you didn't quite know what was useful and what wasn't useful.
Yeah.
And even that the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript I learned, there are a lot of courses on LinkedIn Learning that would teach you that, right? So the challenge then was which one should I take? And at the time, to be frank, I wasn't thinking about an outcome with it, right? I wasn't thinking about, okay, I'll take this course and then I will get a job, or I'll take this course and then it'll help me get this, right? I really was just following my curiosity and following my passion. And so if I started taking a course and it wasn't teaching me what I wanted to learn as it relates to what I'm trying to achieve, right? In that, all right, I want to learn how like the web works, for example. If I just start taking a course and you just start diving straight into code and you don't give me some context and stuff like that, right? Sometimes I would go find it, right? And then trying to like mix both of them, or otherwise I'll just go to the next course that would actually teach me what I want. So
Yeah.
it was frustrating, but eventually I think the biggest thing that came out of that was just sticking with things to the end, in that I want to learn how the web works. Maybe I'm halfway into learning it. Then what a lot of people do is they go halfway in and then they get bored and then they just quit. Like, nah, like that's
Yeah.
typically not how it works, because the second you do it then that way, then do it everywhere else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have a bunch of courses that are like 30-40% in, right?
Yeah.
But now if you're trying to take the course and it's not teaching you what you want to learn, right, then you can switch, but don't switch because it gets boring. And I think that's what helped me actually land my first job before having taken any official computer science class in college, right? So
Yeah.
what I learned from LinkedIn Learning, and then I was able to build stuff with it. That was what helped me land my first role. Yeah.
So it's because I've seen your story around, bro, and I'm a bit familiar with your story. But to me, what interests me most about your story, bro, is your curiosity. Like, is it fair to say that what's like what piqued your interest was just you just being curious?
It's who I am, right? Like anyone who knows me will know if I step into somewhere, I observe, I learn, and within when it's appropriate, I start asking questions.
Yeah.
How does this thing work, right? Why is it set up this way, right? What decisions went into this, right? And so that's just that's what has been fueling me, and then fueling the videos that I make too, which I know we're going to talk about that in a bit, but that's what fueled my journey into software, right? Same thing, even before software, it was with planes. I had those questions, right? And a lot of them have been answered now with just the information that I have online. But with software, it's like those questions never go away. Today, it's building a React app on the front end. Well, now you build the app. How does React work, right? How is React different from Next.js, right? Like those are the
Beautiful
topics.
thing, bro.
Yeah, like those are the topics that my videos are about, and that's just what I just keep refreshing on, right? Like
Yeah.
each time I'm working at something at work, it's like I always try to go one step deeper into actually understanding and asking the questions that a lot of people may not be thinking about, because I genuinely want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one thing that it has, like, your journey, bro. Like, a lot of things have inspired me, but just that part, like, just being curious about things.
Yeah.
Because in anything you do, bro, I believe that if you're not curious, you're not passionate about it.
Yeah.
That's my personal belief, right?
Yeah.
And bro, they say what curiosity kills the cat. I think that's the saying. I believe.
Yeah.
I could be saying it wrong, but
Yeah.
I believe that curiosity in the right things, bro, like it expands your knowledge so
It
much,
just it
right?
just opens your mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
opens you to so many things. Yeah.
yeah, and instead of saying, "Hey, 1 + 1 is 1," wow, 1 + 1 is 1. That's crazy. Instead of saying 1 + 1 is 2, it's
Yeah.
like why?
Yeah.
And then okay, why? Okay, why?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Right? And by the time you realize it, bro, you're like 10 years ahead of your time just because
Yeah.
you asked questions and you spent time to actually research and do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
It's like you get to build a lot more information that the average person doesn't have, right? You
Yeah.
get to learn that, and that then informs your decision as you do things moving forward, because you know you have the knowledge, and then you can then apply that knowledge to so many things that'll help you moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. So your first job, I believe you got it at school, right? You was doing
Yes.
like HTML, CSS. I think it was for like the science building, I believe.
Yes. Department, Natural Resources and Ecological Management Department, NREM.
Okay.
Iowa
How did you
State.
get
Yeah.
that job, and how did you feel, man? That's your first software engineering
Yeah.
job, bro. How
Yeah.
how did you feel?
So I felt great. I hadn't taken any official software classes, and so I remember there was a tab. So in our computer science labs, there was like a paper, and there was those little sheets that you just tear off, and then you go apply for a job. And it said, "Yeah, this department are looking for software engineering interns." And I'm like, "Yo, let me go apply." And I applied, and I interviewed. I remember wearing my coat, and they said send like a piece of code that you had written, and I sent that web calculator, my second coding project. I sent that in, and they saw it. They brought me in, did like an interview. My coding skills definitely weren't the best because I hadn't taken any computer science classes, but I just showed them I was curious. I wanted to learn. They asked some like design questions. I answered. And yeah, I got the job. And I think when I got it and I was making money from writing software, I definitely learned a lot on the job. It was simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And again, that's where my mind just it blew my mind, where it's like you could build web applications, not just web pages, right? Web apps with just plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. At that time, I didn't know about React. I didn't know about any of these front end libraries, right? It was just writing the pure vanilla code. That's where you use a lot of jQuery and those JavaScript libraries. And yeah, I was hyped, man. I was making money. First time making money in the US. I was making US dollars,
What
coming
was
from
what was
Nigeria.
your if you don't mind sharing, bro?
Yeah.
What was your first pay? How much was it, bro?
I think it was an on-campus job for a research assistant position. So it wasn't super. I think it was like $24 an hour or something
Nice,
like that.
nice. As a
So
what, 19-year-old?
yeah, as a 19-year-old,
First time in America, you killing it, bro.
I was like, it was in like 2017 too. So I was making money. I remember my mom flew over. Where
I'm gonna
I
take you
was
shopping, ma.
exactly, yeah. We're going. I was going ham with that $24 an hour, but
Like when I'm doing things, bro, like I want excellency, bro.
yeah,
Like,
and I feel you. I
like
feel you. Yeah,
especially if I have like guests on, it's like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah. I feel you. It's like
my wife be like, babe, it's okay. I'm like, no, no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no,
Like,
no, no. Yeah,
to build a brand,
yeah.
like
If we're
not
gonna do it, we're gonna do it well.
building a brand. Like we need things to be like,
Yeah,
bruh,
we're gonna do it to the best of our ability.
bro,
Yeah,
bro. Even with the kids, bro, I'm like, girls. Like
yeah,
bro, after I'm done, I will play, I will joke
yeah,
around, all that stuff. But if I'm working, it's
yeah.
like, yo,
Straight up, I feel you. Yeah, so just getting the first job, only using stuff that I had learned, project that I had built, a simple web calculator. It wasn't even a scientific web calculator. It was just a calculator on the web.
yeah,
And I sent it, and I was like, this was able to get me a job? Man, right? I hadn't taken any college classes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's only up from here, right? Like all I have to do is just keep exploring, keep building, and learn how to talk to these people in their language, learn how to let that curiosity show for itself in the work
yeah.
that I do, in the projects that I build. And yeah, the rest is history, right? Just internship after internship. I also made sure I exposed myself to so many companies and so many different places to like write code
Yeah.
in so many ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, one dope thing about your story, bro, that's I thought was like dope, man, was so you went to a what is it called? Hackathon.
Oh, hackathons. Yeah.
So yeah, so what you went to a hackathon and from what I know about your story, you were like, that's what changed everything for you.
Yeah.
Expand more on that, bro.
So hackathons, I've gone to a few, but the idea is there where you're there for like maybe depending on the type of hackathon. It could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be one full weekend, right? 3 days or a little, but you just build. Like you come, like you have this idea, right? You kind of, do some sort of this is what I want the app to do, this is what I want the system to do, and then you just spend those 3 days and you just build it. And then when you're done building it, you then go and you present it, and you could potentially win like prizes and stuff like that. And again, that experience of just building, right? That experience of doesn't matter. Like I'm not quite doing it for the outcome. I'm not quite doing it because this thing is going to get me and like an interview with this company or an interview with their company. No, I'm doing it because I'm genuinely curious about how this app works or how this thing works. And yeah, that's the experience behind most of my hackathons. But for the ones that I've done very, very well in, they always solve the problem, like
Yeah.
a specific use case, or they're like an MVP for like a smaller, for like a bigger project. But those experience kind of shaped the way I think about code that I write.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a picture of you. I think yeah, it was you and your hackathon team, the younger
Yeah,
Uma, and I
yeah,
was like, this guy don't have a beard. Like, what
yeah.
happened to your beard, bro? I
That
thought
was
that
a
was
long
kind of
time
cool,
ago.
bro.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I said that was a long time ago in 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you guys ever win or like win anything or
Um, not
for the
in
first
that
hack?
one,
Okay,
not in that one, but in the ones that I've done subsequently. I know at Microsoft we won like the best hackathon during for like a this was in like 2022, but I can't remember specifically what it is, but I know we won, and because of that we got to like pitch the idea to like the CTO and
yeah.
created a team to like give funding for some people to then go build on the idea and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah. Yo, I feel like you're like very bold when you're learning and trying to apply for jobs, because you you got a separate phone and you were
yeah,
just showing employers like
yeah.
what you build. They'll say, hey, let me see your resume, and you were like, hey, you know what? This is the app here.
Yeah, yeah. It points to just speaking their language, right? Like you can come here and I can tell, and we can talk from now till thy kingdom come. But if you don't have like
So
show,
working, so
you
working.
understand what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like think about going to an employer, right? And you're seeing this app on your phone, and they're like, "Oh, tell me about this thing." And you're like, "Oh, I can do you one better. Open your app and go to the app store and download my app." Back
Crazy.
then, it was very much unheard of where maybe a few people were in like that personal development space, right? Where they're doing their own thing and then putting it out. Otherwise, you're you're almost seen in the likes with like Meta, Instagram, right? These companies that are building app store, but then you go on there and then the developer name on the app is your name, right? Like it just shows that okay, your concept, your software maturity level is just at that scale where you're not just writing code that sits on your thing, right? But you're thinking about how to deploy it too, right? It just shows that you've thought about that whole, or you've at least experienced that deployment lifecycle, which a lot of students will never get to experience unless they do like an internship or something. So you're just speeding up your own learning, right? And so when you then go to talk to them, what else are they going to say, right? It really doesn't even matter what it is, right? It could just be like your web app that you have on this site and then they can interact with it, right? And you talk to them, oh yeah, I used AWS to deploy this, I use this to host this, I use this to host. They use AWS at work. You've already done half of the work. You understand what I mean? Like you're speaking to them in their language, right? At that point in time, you can't even converse with the recruiter. They have to send you to an engineer to go talk to them because you're now talking in technical terms. What else do they want?
Bro, you're
Right?
giving so much game right now. I hope y'all are, oh my God.
If you like, and again, it all boils down to just that curiosity. How do these apps run on the web? Well, when I run it on my computer, it's running on my local host. But when it's on a web server somewhere else, what's happening? Let me go figure out that process. Deploy one or two apps. They're in the app store, and now I can talk about it and tell you that whole process. So yeah, when I went there, I always had like a cheap Android phone, and I would do that. And then when I became a senior and I got money to get an Apple developer license. At the time, it was $120 a year. And so I finally got that license and I started deploying. And then, from there it was just, I remember my career fair interview slots will fill out by like the first hour. And so I would have to kind of
Wow.
like be figuring out which company to actually talk to, which ones I actually really, really wanted to go to and stuff like that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. And somebody will say that, man, like you're just lucky. And it's like, oh, you're just a handsome guy. And you're just, you know what I mean? But like,
That's crazy.
but it's like,
Yeah.
no, you are doing things that most people weren't doing. And bro, when I when I realized, or I think I watched another podcast. Obviously, I do like a lot of a lot of research before I have these podcasts, and I was like, man, this guy bought a phone just to show the employers like you're carrying extra
Yeah,
weight just to
extra work.
show,
Yeah, yeah.
like, bro,
I was
go ahead.
hungry. Yeah, I was
You were
hungry. Like I
hungry.
was hungry. It was a do. So part of it was the curiosity. The other part of it was also I was an international student at the time, right? So I knew I had to do things that a domestic student wouldn't do, right? I had to show like my knowledge enough was like my knowledge by itself was better than the students, but I knew that the companies would have to do extra work to pick me, right? They would have to pay extra in legal fees and sponsorships and all of that. So I knew I needed a way to show out. So doing the work itself to show out wasn't work. I was having the time of my life, right? I was, oh my God, like it's kind of like just people who read for fun where they're like, I'm like reading this novel. For me, it's writing code. I was in the system. I remember I built mobile apps for like 2 years. Like, I'm just getting excited talking about it because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
genuinely enjoyed it. Right. And
yeah.
so the, the second part of it was now, okay, how do I convince these people that I know what I'm talking about? How do I speak their language? Right. Some people don't want to hear the technical stuff. They just want to hear like the impact that your work has made. Right. So there was that other aspect that I had to figure out. Then there's the technical interview and the lead code style that I had to figure out too. So at the end of the day, it was just it was work, right? It was like you had to. I had a lot to lose, but at that point in time, I didn't see it as having anything to lose. You know, sometimes when you've come forward, and you can then look back and say what were the consequences. But back then, I was just on autopilot. I loved this thing I was doing, and I knew that I had to kind of get this thing at the end of it. Yeah.
Bro, let's just shut this thing down now, bro. Because no, man, like honestly, bro, like that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that at such a young age, bro, you had the wisdom to be like, yo, I'm gonna just show you what I've built. Like, and you're literally, bro, this is practical steps. Like, you know what I mean? And after you show an employer, like you said, you show the recruiter, like the app, it's like, what am I doing talking to a recruiter? Like, yo, shoot me up to the boss. Like,
Exactly, and they would just send you back there. They'll be like, "Yep," like they would tell someone in front of you to go apply online,
yeah.
and then they would send you to the back right after they told someone to go apply online. And then that's when your eyes started opening. That's when you started to see that things are different, right? If yeah, some companies may genuinely not be interviewing there, but most of them kind of are, right? Most of them will either get your resume and kind of like write something on it to see whether they'll follow back or not and stuff like that, or some of them will try to find a way to have like a special conversation with one specific person. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was from all those instances. And I think even with the way the job market and like internships are like happening now, I'm seeing people who are still getting jobs, people who are still getting hired. And it ultimately boils down to what I said, right? Like there was this kid who I mentored. He would come to me like 3 to 4 times a year and just say, hey, this is what I'm going to focus on for the next 3 months. And a lot of it is just the building, right? Building, putting himself in the right rooms with like the right community. Because if these companies are hiring, some of them will go directly to the universities, some of them will go to like these groups and these organizations. And this year, so 2 years ago he was a freshman. Now he's a sophomore. He's about to intern at Apple. Then right after Apple's done, he's going to go to Bloomberg and then one other company. Like he just like
Wow.
at some point in time we're having conversation about okay, which he had like 7 offers. Which one of these should he take?
Crazy. Crazy.
And it all just boiled down to literally what I was saying, right? You go to these companies, like you do the work, right? So you can speak to them in their language. They know you're intellectually sound. The next part is the people part. How do you then convince them? How do you then talk to them in that sense? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't even know where I want to go after this, bro. Like,
You got
yo,
you got all
I really hope that y'all are like, if y'all don't take anything from this podcast, like this episode, yo, like take two things, yo. Like, be curious with what you want to do. I don't care if you want to learn how to freaking paint. Like, no other colors on the
Yeah.
color palette. You know what I mean? And show your work, yo. Like like show working. Like show what you've
Still
done.
working, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just show it. It doesn't matter how small or how minute or how simple you think it is. Show it.
Yeah, yeah,
Show it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you obviously you knew what you were doing, bro. You know,
Yeah.
you had the balls and you were showing people like, yo,
I wouldn't say I fully knew what I was doing. I was doing stuff, and in that moment, sometimes I didn't quite know if what or how I was doing it was the best way, but I would do it regardless. And in the future, with information that I've learned, I would go see why or how I could have done what I did differently
yeah,
and make it better. But
yeah,
at any point in time, I knew I was doing the best with the information that I had at that point in time.
of course, of course. That's
Yeah,
all you can do. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yep.
Yo, you like lead code, bro, and I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, you absolutely like
Yeah.
why,
It's
how,
one of those. It started
and bro,
as
don't tell me because you're curious, bro. I
no,
don't
no,
want
no.
that one.
It's a love hate relationship. It started.
Okay.
It's something that's turned into a rather hate love relationship. Where again, back to just that experience where when I was showing these walk-ins, going to these conventions, talking to these recruiters, showing them the apps. Obviously, you do stuff like that. You land interviews from the top tech companies, right? Microsoft, Apple, Facebook at the time, Google, and they would reach out and they would be like, "Hey, would love to interview you. We're coming to campus. Let's interview you." I'll be like, "Sure." They would come. I would do the interview. They would say, "Go practice lead code." I was a student at the time. I was working on my personal projects. I didn't have time for lead code. So I would just not study, and then I would fail the interviews or I would fail the online phone assessments. And I didn't quite care to land internships in those companies because I already had internships in smaller companies,
Yeah.
right? Up in Minneapolis, SPS Commerce, in Wisconsin, Rockwell Automation, right? I would drive to those companies and I would just go, like, during the summer, I would go there and they were, again, pay me more money than I knew what to do with, right? Like, yes, having Google in your resume is nice. Yes, having Microsoft, having Meta, but I wasn't chasing those. I was chasing code, right? Wherever the code was where I wanted to go. It wasn't about the company. It was the code itself. And so final year though, I realized when it was time to talk about full-time opportunities with these companies, because I was an international student, they wanted me, but a lot of them had caveats where it's like, all right, we won't sponsor your stuff until after a couple of years. Let's see how you're doing. And being an international student, for sponsorship, you only get 3 tries. And if you're telling me you're not gonna sponsor, like, it's a lottery system. If you're telling me you're not even gonna try on my first 2 lottery attempts, like, there's no guarantee that the third one I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew the bigger companies, they didn't do that, right? They would take care of your thing as soon as possible. And so I knew I had to start my full time career at one of those big companies. And so my final year, I was like, okay, I'm taking only one class. Let me sit down and let me lock this thing down. I know these companies are going to come and interview me for full time. They've been coming the past 2 years. They will come again, right? And yeah, I just locked in. I studied so much, did so much of these problems where first it was hard, but then I started to see the patterns. You started to see, oh, how many ways recursion, right? There's like all 3 problems can pretty much be solved in like one of
Yeah.
many ways,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I started to understand the patterns. And then after the patterns, I then realized, well, just knowing how to solve the problem is not enough, right? You then have to communicate to them that you know how to think through not just these problems, but if you're given similar problems, you can think through complex problems, and you do that in the way you communicate. So I found websites like Pramp, right? And it's like peer-to-peer interviewing. I interview you for 30 minutes, you interview me for 30 minutes. I give you feedback, you give me feedback. Got better at like interviewing, right? So I practiced so much, and yeah, eventually Microsoft came. They gave me a question that I hadn't seen before, but something on my I wasn't doing too well on the technical interview screening side when they came the first time, but they saw something on my resume where I was working on a mobile app, and they asked, "Oh, tell me about this app." And I told them about how I worked on the app, and I worked on it with a freshman. I was also mentoring him at the same time, and they were like, "Tell me about that relationship." And I was like, "Oh yeah, he wanted to build. I love building." I was like, "Let's build this thing together. I can show you some tips." I also needed help on the project, so we worked on it together, and that's what got me to the on-site round. Once I went to the on-site round, the rest was barbecue wings. You know what I mean? Like, like I was ready, right? Like It was like it's a numbers game, right? I've done this thing so much and I've seen all the problems. And then
Yeah.
ever since then, that was actually what prompted me to start creating videos online. If you go to my YouTube, my first videos were like just
Yeah.
lead code style, where I just wanted to solve these problems. I genuinely enjoy. I
Yeah.
enjoyed them, and I still enjoy them. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, are you a nervous person? Like, I guess no. Nervous, yeah, but then also, are you an introvert or extrovert?
mixture of both.
Mixture of both.
I
Okay.
like being by myself, but I can talk to anyone about anything.
Cause I feel like your energy, like I feel like you, in order to like, you did all this stuff at a young age, bro. Like, you have to have confidence for that. I know so many people who will DM me like, hey, I'm scared to do this. Even to like DM a recruiter
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. I'm scared. I'm scared. But for you, it's like you were like, I'm just going for it.
What do I have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
You know, someone like your worst case scenario, you're right back where you started from. Best case scenario, you completely find opportunities that'll change your life, right? So the like the logic and the reasoning there is just right. Like, do it not feeling like you're ready. Do it scared. Do it like with your hands sweating, right? Like you had dropped an episode of a podcast with your wife where you're like, one of the things that you're proud about her is that you're like, how did you get in this room? Like, rooms that you wouldn't expect her to be, she found her way in there. And it's just it just boils back to that, right? Where it's like, what do you have to lose? Just do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out, baby girl. I know you're
Yeah.
watching this. Shout out to you. Love you. Um, so I think your first job was Microsoft, right?
Microsoft, yeah.
They denied you, I believe, a couple times, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And they come back and say the same guy denied. I want him. How did it feel, bro? Like, where were you at when you got that first offer? Like, not the offer, well, like the call. Like, yo, I want you, Microsoft. How'd that
I
feel,
was
bro?
sleeping. I was sleeping. I do remember I had flew in.
Dreaming, huh?
Yeah, I flew in, did the interview. At that time, a couple of my friends were here who graduated from Iowa State, Victor and Chooks. But Chooks wasn't with Microsoft; he was with a different company. And so Wadud was here too. And so I met them on campus. I did the interview, and then I got back, and then they said they'll get back to me after like a few days. I was like, all right, bet. So I just kept refreshing my app, refreshing the app, refreshing the app. And I remember on a Thursday at like two, like 1 p.m., which in Redmond time was like, no, on Thursday at like 5 p.m. my time, which in Redmond time was like 2 p.m. I just saw congratulations from Microsoft. And I was like, yeah, I was ecstatic.
Wow.
It felt like, a weight had been lifted off my shoulder, right? In that I had other offers from different companies, but I knew that Microsoft was the only one that was going to treat my immigration like a healthcare benefit, right? In that other companies would kind of like dangle it on you to work hard. Like, the second I got that offer in November, even before I had written one line of code for Microsoft, they had already tried to put me in the H1B visa lottery. So
Wow.
I would have ended up with 4 opportunities to try
Yeah.
to get it instead of 3.
Wow.
Right? The company that some companies that I had offers for said again, they weren't going to do it until like, X. I think Amazon had this rule at the time where they weren't going to do it until like you got to a certain level, you had been promoted once or twice. Microsoft was like, hey, we want to get you, like they treat it like it's healthcare. The way companies treat healthcare as a benefit, they treat immigration as a benefit. And that was the priority for me at the time. So once I got it, I just felt like a load had been lifted off my shoulder.
Wow. Bro, talk to me that first paycheck, man. Like, you see the zeros, bro. Talk
It's
to me about that feeling, man.
the paycheck was wild, but what was even wilder was the sign-on bonus. Right?
Did you
The
did you
sign-on bonus-
negotiate?
I didn't, because in my mind, it was more money than I knew what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what sort of gluttony is asking why?
Hey, listen. When it comes to negotiation, there's nothing called gluttony.
Bro,
Get
at
your
the time,
bag.
I didn't know all of this,
I
right?
feel you.
Now
Yeah.
I've negotiated, like, even like the brand deals that I be doing, it's a lot of money. I'm just
Of
like,
course.
I know you're giving me your
Of
best number.
course.
throwing like wild numbers in there, right?
Yeah.
Even my offer with Netflix, I negotiated that one too. But
Yeah.
ultimately, back then I was a college student who had been given, top of the line this thing. They were going to pay for relocation, like just a lot of.
Yeah.
I was just like, what else do I want, right? And so yeah, that first paycheck was a paycheck plus the sign-on bonus, which was like, it's like you wake up, you see it, and you're like, oh, I made a mistake, right? Like there's a mistake somewhere. And then you just look at it again, and then you go to like your paycheck thing on this thing, and then they're like, no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
The face stuff. Yep.
And then that's when it then hits you. You're like, okay, I'm getting this, and I'm at the bottom of the food chain, right? I'm 59, right? Fresh out. There's people who are making way more,
Oh
and then
yeah.
Microsoft themselves, they're not known to pay top of the market. But like there are companies who are paying even way more, right? You
Yeah.
go to Meta, you go to Amazon pays well, but they will squeeze every single dime out of you.
I heard.
Meta pays well. Then there's Netflix too, right? And so it was just kind of like leveling up and just getting to like the next level, but starting at the bottom of that level. And then
Yeah.
there was then more to achieve, not just in terms of compensation, but in terms of, all right, let's see how software at Netflix is. Sorry,
Yeah.
let's see how software at Microsoft is, right?
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
it mean to write software at enterprise scale like this? Because all the
Yeah.
other stuff that you have been writing, yeah, some of it has been for your personal projects, some of it has been for internships, smaller projects within internships, but now it's like it's the real deal. Yeah.
I mean, how was the first year, bro? Like working with the big dogs, like you said, it's not your personal projects. It's
Yeah.
Microsoft, right?
It
So
was yeah, it was really good. It was a lot of learning, obviously. That's when you start to realize that tests are very, very important, right? You
oh yeah.
like you're like, oh yeah, you're like, oh, go fix this thing, and you write it, and you check it in, and they just flame it. Where's the test? Where's blah, blah, blah? And you're just like, wow, all right,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my bad. I did not
Can't
know,
be
and
careless,
so
bro. You gotta. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you had to learn. It was good. I think I lucked out where I was one of the very few software engineers in my team. So mostly what we did was like automating tasks from like networking engineers. And so you would work with them, you would gather their requirements, then you would help them standardize before you then automate, and then you'll then save time. So I could see the direct impact of my work. I could see the
Nice.
direct output of that. And I was locked out where most of the network engineers I worked with were absolutely amazing. They would kind of give you tips, be like, oh, I think you should do this. I remember my PM at the time where, because the impact of my work was so high, she would hear that, okay, this manager is promoting these people. You should go talk to the manager to get promoted as well. So they would give me that push in the butt that I needed to say,
Yeah.
go advocate for yourself, right? I see, because they see things from different perspectives, right? I see it as I'm just getting my work done. I'm good. But then if you don't fight for more, if you don't ask for more, they will never give you more, right? In terms of compensation, in terms of the type of work that you want, in terms of the impact that you want to make. And so
Yeah.
that first year was good. It was a lot of learning, a lot of asking questions. And then, yeah, eventually I kind of found my foot, and I
Yeah.
found kind of like my niche and my space within the team.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Talk to me about advocating for yourself on the job. So you've gotten the job, you're getting your paycheck, right? Talk to me about advocating for yourself, like showing. Cause I think I watched I think he posted a tweet out. Was it a tweet or something he posted that was like, man, like if you're looking for a raise or if you're looking for a promotion, like you have to know what you're doing,
Yeah.
like, and you have to have it written out, like, yo, I am doing X, Y, and Z, and this is how it is benefiting the company, right? Talk a bit more about that because I feel like most people get the job, I'm getting a paycheck, and I'm just coasting, I'm good.
Yeah. There's different ways you can see it, right? There's the part that you mentioned where depending on the stage in your life where you are, sometimes you have kids, you have a family, you don't want to grind that thing too hard, right? You want to make considerable, like good impact, right? But you don't want to be floors to the pedal where parts of your life are taking a toll because you're like grinding this thing out. And that's
Yeah,
completely fine, right? It just depends on what stage in your life that you're in, right? But when you're very early on, when you don't have that much responsibility outside work, then you can commit a lot of your time and your energy and your effort to work. And that's when you then start to think about the kind of work that you're doing. There's busy work and there's impactful work, right? Busy work is the kind of busy work where it's work, it's needed, but it's not making the company money, right? You can't you can draw a direct line from the work to outcomes that is moving the needle for the company. You can tie a line from the work to outcomes, right? Maybe making things faster, making things better, but it's not actually creating as much impact, right? So there's that one, and then there's impactful work where someone will be doing less work, but because of that work that you're doing, you're enabling a new business opportunity for the company that will yield X amount of dollars, right?
Yeah.
It's making customers happy because it's fixing this major pain point that they have, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, when you want to get promoted, rather, if you want to get promoted, you have to be doing that type of impactful work, right? That's the first part. Secondly, you have to be clear with your manager. You have to talk to the man, talk to the woman, be like, hey, this is my plan. Within X amount of months, I want to get promoted. What type of work do I need to be doing to get that? Because you may be thinking, oh, this work that I'm doing that's rewriting this code base to make it cleaner. It'll move me to the next level. To them, it's not doing anything, right? If the code was working before you rewrote the code base, you rewriting it doesn't add anything directly to them. It makes it nicer for people to onboard, right? That's where you have to then maybe try to find the value in the work that you're doing and then communicate that value. But they have to be on board, right? They have to then try to help you find opportunities for you to make that type of impact, to make the impact that'll get you to the next level. And you have to be like straightforward, look them in the eye. It's hard to do. It was very hard. I told you when I first started, they had to push me, right? My PM and my network engineer at the time, they would push me, hey, Uma, go talk to this person about this, go talk to this person about this, right? Because if you don't do that, if you're not the one who is actively and intentionally saying, I want this type of work, the people who are doing it, they will be the ones to get that type of work.
Exactly.
Right? They will be the one, like the ones that are advocating for themselves, the one that are saying, hey, I want this out of my career. I want to work on this type of project, right? Your manager, like there's only so many of those type of opportunities in the company, in the team, right? In that space. So if you're not the one who is kind of like pushing for it for yourself, right? Advocating to say, I want this, right? I want this. This is how I want things to go. Then ultimately, they won't say anything. They'll just kind of like just leave things hanging in the air.
Yeah. After Microsoft, big boys, Netflix, crazy. Yo, when I saw that I was like, yo, this guy is going for blood and for heads. He doesn't care. Like, yo, one, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Netflix. Why Netflix, man? You're like, how? Why?
A few things. So I wasn't so I left that team, the networking automation team at Microsoft, after like 3 years, after like 3.5, 4 years. And I wanted to go work in a different part of Microsoft where I was doing something different. And I ended up in Substrate. So Substrate is the biggest data organization in the world. It's the data store layer for all of Office 365. So, and if you use SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, Outlook, your data lives in Substrate. And while I was there, I was working on FileScore, which is just the API layer that ingests data into FileScore, right?
Okay.
So I was working on files for APIs for SharePoint, OneDrive, and then I was doing that, and it was a much, much more challenging space. It was exactly what I was looking for, what I wanted. And prior to getting into Substrate, M365, I was looking for roles outside Microsoft at the time. I was just keeping my options open because I wanted to learn more. I felt like, okay, you've done networking automation. That's one part of software. Let's go see what else is out there on the enterprise level, right? And so I was applying. I applied to Netflix, didn't hear back. Prior to that, I had heard that Netflix would only hire people who had specific experiences for the teams that they were looking for. So they want someone who have worked on video encoding. If you haven't worked directly on video encoding, then they won't hire you. If you have an experience with like adjacent, they won't hire you. They wanted something specific. So I didn't hear back. And then last year in November, I went to Afrotech. I went as a creator, and while I was there, I was talking to, just people, talking to companies, asking questions. I wasn't looking for any role because like less than a year ago, I had moved into Substrate, and I met a friend who I went to college with, Chooks, and he was like, hey, come talk to us. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then I spoke to him, and I spoke to someone else on the team at Netflix, and I was telling them the type of work I was doing at Substrate, working with like, APIs or SharePoint, OneDrive, handling over 2 trillion requests a day, just high RPS systems, right? that are doing stuff like that and the type of problems that I'm solving in that space, the scaling issues, making changes, doing this type of shadow requests, just all this stuff. And they were like, dude, you'd be awesome for so and so. And I was like, oh, great. They were like, would you like a referral? I was like, maybe. Like, I wasn't looking to leave, right? I was just like, I still had work to do in this space. I still
Yeah.
had work to do in this on substrate. And after a couple of days after, I got an email from a recruiter at Netflix saying, hey, heard you spoke to our people at Netflix. Would love to talk to you about this role. Now, I get these type of emails from recruiters all the time, and I always answer it, and I always do the interviews because I coach people with interviewing, and I love interviewing. So the more I keep my skills fresh, the more I can better help the clients that I coach. And so I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely, let's do it. And so I did the interview. The technical part wasn't too hard. Then we did the behavioral part, which was a lot of culture fit. Netflix has a very unique culture, so I just read a lot about that, found stories in my background that aligned, and then did that, and I got the offer. And I was like, if you know Netflix, it's it's a bag. It's a
Yeah.
bag for sure.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
throw the whole bag at you in a way
Yeah.
where it's unless the team is horrible, it's really hard to kind of say no.
Yeah.
So p- part of my decisions to leave was I was telling my manager at Netflix and even at Microsoft, I didn't feel like I had left things at Microsoft in a way where I had done enough impact with the team that I had just joined. I was around 9 months to, yeah, I was like 9 months into that new role, right?
Yeah.
I had made impact, but not enough that I wanted to do. But still, they all encouraged me to say there's never a right time to leave, right? And so the decision was just one, it was an amazing offer. Two, what software like at Netflix, right? What software for the biggest streaming organization in the world, right? Their culture,
Crazy.
like they also have some sort of like just being in here now. I've been here for around over 2 months, I believe. The type of projects that I've worked on, the type of things that I'm doing, their things are fast, quick. They use the latest technology. Things are working. There's documentation for everything. You're solving problems at huge scale. You have the like. I just wanted to experience that software culture somewhere else,
Yeah.
having been at Microsoft for around 5 years. Yeah,
Bro, congratulations once again, man. Because
thank you.
that's like, this is a big deal, yo. Like,
Yeah,
mama, we made it kind of deal.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So
Thank
do
you.
you have a free Netflix account?
I do not. Netflix do not. They don't give free Netflix.
What?
No, they don't. They will.
Listen,
They will throw a bag at you to the point where it doesn't make sense for
it
them
don't
to.
it don't even matter. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it don't even matter.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, yo, let me get on your Netflix account, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me try to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, that's dope, man. Your story's amazing, bro. It's beautiful, bro. I'm gonna let you go, but I want to ask a couple personal, like
Yeah.
your own personal brand, kind of just like shout you out, man. So obviously you're a creator. You already shared what got you into creating, but recently you have a podcast.
Yes.
And when the podcast came out, the first day I was like, "It's about damn time." Like, I've seen you, and I think I've been following you for a minute
Yeah.
since my
Been
journey
long.
started, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why does this guy not have like a TV show? Like, you should, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you're
Appreciate
eloquent, like
it.
you're a people person, you have the knowledge, you know. But I love the way you do the podcast is with one of your friends that that
Yeah.
lives across from you.
I can literally see his house. Like his house is right there.
Yo, that's so
Yeah.
like cliche and
Yeah.
so dope at the same time. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Okbe.
Okbe. Am I
Yeah.
saying it right?
Okbe. Yeah. Okbe.
Akbar, Akbar,
Yeah.
shout out, bro. Shout
Yeah.
out, bro. Yeah, man. So why the podcast? Why him? Obviously, I already know. But yeah, and why the
Yeah.
name? Because that's a
For
dope
sure.
name, by the way.
Appreciate it. So, a few things. So he moved into the house across the street from mine, literally right there, and we had mutual friends, but we had never met. And so when he moved in, he was my neighbor. Obviously, he's also Nigerian as well. So he would come over. We just became friends, right? Because of the proximity, and started talking about. So he's also a software engineer as well. He's a senior software engineer at Zillow, and we just both love tech. So after work, for example, like it's at 5, he would come and we would just sit and talk tech till like 9, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Talk about the work that he's doing, the team. I'm curious. I'm asking question. How does data work at Zillow? He's a software engineer that handles data at Zillow, and so yeah, he would talk to me about my own work. We'll just explain. Then I'll talk about like the hard stuff that I'm going through. He'll talk about how his trying to mentor people, but at the same time get to like principal, just we'll just talk, right? And that happens a lot. Like it would happen a lot. And when like when the AI hype started becoming a lot, right? We'll just exchange ideas, we'll talk about our experiences. And in December, it just hit me. I was like, dude, like we have these conversations all the time. Why don't we just turn it into a podcast, right? Where we talk about the unfiltered experiences of being software engineers that aren't technical, right? That don't involve the code, because there's so much, like the code is just one aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea behind the name is called Beyond the Build podcast. The idea is, whatever code that you're writing, you eventually create a build, right? And then this build then gets shipped to AWS or whatever web service, AWS web service, whatever web service they're using, Google Cloud, all of that. But we want to talk about things that are beyond the build, right? Beyond the code itself. So that's the name behind it. And yeah, we're in like episode 6 now. We've recorded everything till episode 12. So we'll start season 2 soon, and season 2 will actually start having guests as well, where we're in the Seattle area. So there's like a lot of engineering managers, right? Have them come talk about software engineering from their perspective, right? What they see that we don't know, right? Like how specific decisions are being made in the team. We have friends who moved from Nigeria to South Africa to the US simply because of their work as engineers, right? What was that experience like, right? How did they think about, tech and immigration? We want to bring in PMs as well to talk about their experience as it relates to the engineering experience. Essentially just talking about software and the engineering career outside the code that we write, beyond the code.
Yeah. Yeah. If y'all haven't seen the episodes, go binge watch it, man. Honestly, like you will learn a lot. It's and I'm not just saying this just cause like if there's something that's good out there, I want to support it. You know what I mean? Bro, I'm learning a lot from the episodes. Like I'm learning so much, bro. And it's cool to just see. And I think I like the creativity behind the way you're doing it. Like you said, in tech podcasts, there's so many different ways. And each way is cool. You know what I mean? But I like the way y'all are approaching it. It's like real, unfiltered conversations.
Yeah.
It's not just technical. This is why, I mean, obviously that would be woven into it, but I feel like the way you guys do it, like anybody can listen to the podcast. Like you don't have to even be in tech.
Literally, yeah.
You know what I
mean? Most of the feedback that we've gotten is that it just flows. It's very easy, where they don't even, a lot of people who listen to it are not directly software engineers. Some of them are PMs, and they still get value out of the conversation. They get different perspectives. They get like a deeper understanding about specific things. Like, I remember in one of the episodes I spoke about how Okwe had told me that depending on the scale of the problems that you're working on, you can't see progress in one day. You can't see progress in 1 week. You can't see progress in 1 month, right?
Yeah.
You have to measure progress over a huge span of time. And that's what sometimes we kind of fail to account that, hey, trying so many things that don't work is still progress at the same time, right? So kind of like shifting that mindset to then say, okay, how do you then convey that? How do you communicate that too, right? And so, that's something that isn't just coding related, right? It's can apply to any aspect as well.
Yeah. And I know you have a mentorship program, and also you have a course on Udemy.
Yes, I have one course on Udemy about Git and GitHub. I want to make more, but again, in my mind, I'm that person who wants to do 1,000 things, but I know that I can only sustainably do 3. And so I want to make courses teaching so many things. I love to teach. I love to learn, and I love to teach.
Yeah.
And I have a coaching program called the Pro Dev Coaching Program. It's just one-on-one coaching for software engineers who have more than 2 years of experience. The idea behind it is, okay, I have this experience. I'm a software engineer in this company. I want to either land a higher paying job or find a way to get promoted within my own space. And so, like I said, like I spoke about working on impactful project, I help you try to figure out how to find that niche within your team, within your space. Or if you want to leave, that's completely fine as well. I teach you how to talk about your experiences in a way that shows the value of the work you've done and not the number of lines of code that you've written, right?
Love it.
Because a lot of, again, it's stuff that I've learned myself, where you go to people and you can mention all the technical languages and stuff like that. That's great. But if I tell you I've worked on APIs that handle over 2 trillion requests for Microsoft, working across SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, and stuff like that, then it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? I've handled problems at this scale. I can probably handle what you've handled. So I just teach people how to find that within their experiences and then portray that. And we also do some technical interviewing work as well, some behavioral interview work, some personal branding work where we work on your resume, work on your LinkedIn. Then ultimately, I become a resource for you moving forward in your career. So that's a high overview of the coaching program.
Bro, you're killing it, bro. You're killing
Appreciate
it
it.
on every angle, man.
Thank you.
Bro, are you proud of yourself, man?
I am. I am. I am. On so many fronts. So from the coaching to not even the from so many things. I used to be work, 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 work. I will sleep when I die. I changed that. I changed that. Right? Like on that personal side, I
Bro,
changed that
I'm
one.
laughing because I feel you so much. I
Yeah, I
feel
used to
you.
be that way. And then I think around I'm just like, yeah, man, I have to take care of me. And so that's something that I prioritize: eating properly, sleeping, working out, doing things that I enjoy. That's one aspect of it. On
Yeah,
the
you're
content,
running, going to
yeah,
the gym. I see you. I see. I
literally,
see.
yeah. I've lost a decent amount
I
of
see
weight.
you. Yeah, yeah,
Just changing a few habits here and there.
yeah.
On the content side, the videos are a lot better. I finally got a team. I have a team working with me now where I have someone who helps me write specific videos. I write some, they help me write some. I have a video editor. Shout out to Brian. He helps me. I shoot the video. I give him full creative decision making for the videos within like a guided context of, okay, I want this to sound this way. I want this to this way. For complicated topics, I've started doing a lot of animations so that things are like
Yes.
visually
Yeah.
appealing, things that are
Yeah.
visually aesthetic. Like there were so many topics that I wanted to make videos on before, but I couldn't because I didn't feel like I would do them enough justice, right? And so now I am diving into those ones. I'm about to get someone to help with like the business aspects of things, and so like on so many aspects, I'm so proud of
Yeah.
myself. It's hard. It's hard to say, but like in my own way, I go and I look at some of the videos that I create, and I'm like, man, like, because it takes like between 2 weeks, 2 and 3 weeks to like create videos. So by the
Yeah.
time I shoot it and then I send it, by the time they send it back, I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
this is what we created, right? It's like
Yeah.
really, really good quality, right? There's still some work to be done with like the copies and the tagging and the thumbnails and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think it's just, getting better slightly, right? With
Yeah.
each new video, with each, like just picking something to get better at, right? And so eventually I want to get back into creating courses, making like a backend engineering roadmap where we work on projects with like WebSockets, gRPCs, QN, GraphQL, like just all these things that I've learned with time, just kind of creating ways to teach them with project-based learnings instead of just saying this is what this thing is and kind of like having people. And so, yeah, there's so many things I want to do, but I'm definitely proud of where I've come.
Yeah.
And I know that there's I honestly don't know where I'm going because I said I don't do things with a goal of getting somewhere. I'm just enjoying the process, and wherever it takes me, we'll see. Yeah.
Bro, where can people find you, man?
Uma codes literally everywhere. At Uma codes on YouTube, Uma Abu or Uma codes on YouTube, Uma codes on TikTok, Uma codes on Instagram, Uma Abu on LinkedIn, and Beyond the Build podcast everywhere at
Okay.
Beyond the Build podcast. Yeah.
Nice. I have one more question for you, bro. I'm gonna let you go. I told you in the beginning of the podcast that I do this thing for people who they see how far you've come, but they don't know the steps it takes to get there, right? What kind of information, what kind of motivation, or whatever you want to share with anybody who's starting or who's already been in the game, who is stagnant, right? Is there any kind of advice you want to, besides like, yo, get up your ass and just go work? Besides that, like,
Yeah.
what you got to tell them, bro?
The man who enjoys walking or the man who enjoys running will run farther than someone who is running to get to a destination. I will leave it at that.
Don't say no more, bro. Let's just leave. Let's just
Yeah, I
talk
think
to y'all later, man.
it
Let's
just
just leave.
it just sums it up where just figure out why you're doing it and everything else is going to align, right? I think once your why is kind of like concrete, right, then you just have to not give up, right? Because when you essentially, I don't want to say fail, but you essentially, it's over when you give up, right? But if you don't and you just keep chugging and chugging and chugging, the universe has a way of rewarding it. It could be in 1 week, it could be in 1 month, it could be in 1 year, it could be in 3 years, but you make so much progress when you genuinely enjoy the journey to getting there, right? The value is in the journey and it's not in the destination. So just figure out your why and just keep chugging. Yeah.
Uma Abu. Did I say your last name right, bro?
Abu here.
Abu. All right, we out because I'm still thinking about what you said in the beginning. Bro, thank you so much, man, for honoring my invitation, bro. I've learned a lot. I know my followers, your followers, whoever watched this would like, if they take the things that you've said, bro, they can like win in life, honestly. And I truly believe that if you actually like take the things you said, bro, and like put into practice, like show working, don't give up, keep on going. I truly believe that y'all be successful. And so, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm honored, bro. Thank you so much. And I know that like next year and 2 years, like the sky's the limit, bro. Like and you're young, like you set like your generation, like it's just,
Appreciate it.
yeah, bro. So, bro, thanks so much, man. And yeah, we out, y'all.
Thanks for having me.